stupidest reason someone has ever tried to sue you for. My neighbor sued me for $20,000 because he said I trained 5 ducks to be assassins. I was standing in court while his lawyer held up a poster board covered in duck photos with the words, "Proof of duck gang activities," written in red marker. The lawyer told the judge I had turned innocent pond ducks into a gang trained to destroy property and hurt children. My neighbor got on the stand crying, saying he couldn't sleep because my killer duck squad was stalking his family and planning to attack his house. His lawyer showed the judge 57 pictures of ducks swimming and eating with labels like "ducks in attack mode" and "getting ready to strike" written on them. This whole stupid mess started 8 months ago when I was super depressed. I started going for walks to the pond every morning and watching these 5 ducks. I started bringing them food because honestly, they were the only things that seemed happy to see me anymore. I looked online and found out bread would kill them, so I bought fancy duck food that cost $15 a bag and started feeding them every morning. I named the biggest one Beefcake McMuffin because he was ridiculously muscular for a duck and would flex his wings at other birds. There was another one I named Dr. Quack Sparrow because he had this weird sideways swim that looked like a drunk pirate. The smallest one I called Chaos Potato because she was shaped like a potato but would fight any bird twice her size over a single piece of corn. Everything was totally normal until my neighbor was jogging and saw me with the ducks, who would line up for food because that's literally what all animals do when you feed them. He stopped jogging and started recording me on his phone while yelling into it like a reporter saying, "I am witnessing a criminal mastermind training his gang of thugs for illegal activities." The next morning he brought his wife and 3 other neighbors, and when Chicken McNobody waddled toward me, his wife screamed, "Oh my god, they obey his commands," and started crying about how her children weren't safe anymore. They formed some kind of emergency duck watch group and took hundreds of photos every morning while wearing sunglasses like detectives from TV shows. They brought clipboards to take notes about what they called aquatic gang movements, which was literally just the ducks swimming in circles looking for bugs. They called the cops 4 times saying I was training animals to commit crimes, and one cop actually laughed so hard he had to sit down on the curb and asked if they were pranking him for a YouTube video. They called animal control 6 times saying the ducks were dangerous weapons, and the animal control officer asked them if they knew what ducks were. When that didn't work, they hired this lawyer who sent me a letter saying I was running a duck mafia that posed a clear and present danger, and if I didn't stop immediately, they would make sure I went to prison. The letter had a whole paragraph about how Dr. Quack Sparrow specifically was seen doing surveillance activities, which meant he swam in circles. It claimed Chaos Potato had exhibited threatening behavior because she once pooped near their property line. They even included a whole section about Beefcake McMuffin being unnaturally buff, and how his intimidating physique was proof of me feeding him performance-enhancing corn. When I finally got to defend myself, I showed the judge security footage from the pond that went back 2 years, proving these ducks lived there before I even moved to the neighborhood. The footage showed the gang following literally everyone with food, including a toddler with crackers and a drunk guy who fell asleep on the bench and dropped his burger. I played a video where I walked past the pond empty-handed, and Dr. Quack Sparrow didn't even look up from eating pond scum. The pond maintenance guy testified that Chaos Potato once chased a jogger for half a mile because she had a granola bar in her pocket. He also said Beefcake McMuffin wasn't actually buff, he just had weird feathers that stuck out and made him look swole. He was actually kind of weak and lost fights to pigeons regularly. I also showed the judge my neighbor's Instagram, where 3 years ago he posted 12 videos of these exact same ducks with heart emojis and hashtags like blessed and nature healing. The judge asked my neighbor's wife to explain how ducks who follow anyone with food could be trained assassins, and she couldn't answer without using the word conspiracy 17 times. The judge asked my neighbor if he seriously believed I had turned 5 regular ducks that eat pond scum and bugs into trained killers. My neighbor's wife jumped up and screamed, "Those aren't regular ducks, they're assassins. Look at their evil faces," and pointed at a photo of Chaos Potato sleeping with her head under her wing. The entire courtroom exploded with laughter, including the court reporter who had to stop typing. The judge said in 40 years he'd never heard anyone accuse ducks of being hitmen, and told my neighbor he needed therapy. He threw out the case and made my neighbor pay $5,000 plus my lawyer fees, saying, "If this man has killer ducks, then my goldfish is planning to rob a bank." My neighbor stood up and yelled, "The ducks have gotten to you too. They've won," before his lawyer dragged him out of the courtroom. Now he says the ducks quack death threats at him through his bedroom window at night.